Hello, so this week's journal I'm going to do in Screencastify. I'm coming to you from my classroom, and you can see my class students behind me and some of the projects we've done. Multi-dimension hands, snowflakes. We did the physics behind snowflakes and the art behind them and everything. We also did decimal flowers using paper towel rolls and toilet paper rolls. I tried to have integrated quite a few things in my classroom this year, and I think that's great. But we're here to talk about probability. So from chapter 21, there were several activities I liked. The first one was how likely are the sums? This is a dice game, so it's hands-on, and they have to add first, and it has a probability of 2 dice, which really brings in more probability than 1 dice. And so I like that as a hands-on activity. It's unpredictable. They kind of know that with rolling the dice. I don't know what it's going to be. So it kind of brings that whole idea of probability to full circle. I also like the idea of the fair and unfair games. I like that because the kids are always talking about being fair or not fair. And this way it can really bring the idea of probability in because they know what's fair, what's not. And you use coins for this one and flipping them and so forth and what type of coins they have. It's a group project, so they get to work collaboratively on this. So I like that also. And the last activity I really liked was chance of hitting the target. So it has like a normal typical target with the circles coming in on each other. And you have to talk about the probability of landing in each of the circles. To be honest, I picked that one because I'm just now getting into archery and I kind of want to know the probability of them all. So I think that would be a good one since I do 6th grade and probability is going to be something that we're going to do. I might look at doing an activity like that with my class. So the second part, we were looking at ways to implement technology. Obviously, it's a year where we have to do this. I had 2 ideas. One is looking at the probability of the different letters, looking for either vowels, consonants, or a particular letter in a particular paragraph that you can post for all the students to look at and count. So that's a simple one. The one I like a lot more is the Wheel of Names. It's a program that you can put up. You can put all the kids' names on it and you push it and the probability of their name coming up or the probability of a girl's name coming up or a boy's name coming up. I think my kids like the Wheel of Names. We do it for some other things. So I think that would be a great opportunity to use that as a tool. Looking through the lessons that were on those websites, it was a little hard because some of them I didn't have access to. But the one I ultimately chose was Roll the Die, all about probability, because it is dice, and I like dice. And kids understand the idea of dice. They've seen a dice. They've rolled a dice. They use them in games all the time. They're looking to roll a certain number in a game. So they're vested in learning what the probability of them rolling that 6 if they need it, or rolling that 3 if they need it. It starts out with discussing probability. Explaining what it is and how likely something is to happen and why you would want to know that. You look at the dice and say how many sides are on the dice. They realize there's 6. And then you roll the dice a few times, show them that, it's random. And then you discuss how the probability of a single number is going to be 1 to 6. Because there's one side of what you want to 6 sides that there are on a 1 dice. I would bring it up for 6th graders doing 2 dice, 3 dice. Keep adding those. I would do that modification for one thing. And the other modification is since we are teaching virtually, there are several programs and apps that you can use which do digital dice that roll for you. Can't exactly expect the kids to have dice at home necessarily. Hopefully they do, but you can't count on it. So I would do that modification. So I really am looking forward to doing some probability because 6th grade, we do probability. So I'm going to look at several of these activities and see if I can't adapt them and put them into my classroom when we do them. And this is my week's journal.